We are back in the Lighthouse Diary, and yes, I do mean we. I don't know how long I've got before LJ gives out, but I'm gonna see what we can do right now. Okay, it seems to be doing alright. So, sorry, let me adjust real quick. Yeah, there's just been something that would keep popping up when I would either, just reflect or, work out or whatever. Or I'm just, in bed getting ready to sleep or whatever the case may be. Um, I would just think to myself, you know what? There's just going to be people who like you, but they just don't want to like you. Or there's people who, want to dislike you or, more extreme than that, but deep down they do like you. And it's just funny that way because for like a good how many few years or so, I would think to myself, you know what? When it comes down to me, it's like either people love me or hate me, but now I'm really just accepting the gray areas that I just described before. And and I'm going to be honest with you, I can't remember if I mentioned this before, but anyways, I was watching Timothy J. Ward. I don't know if you already watch him. If you already do, that's amazing. Um, but yeah, he talks a lot about minimalism and yeah, basically living life on your own terms and trying to, you know, be more of yourself in your life choices, even though there is a status quo. And, just being comfortable in your skin in that regard. And as you might have seen, like that has clearly been a struggle for me personally. And, he mentioned something, I forgot which video it was, but he was talking about how when he was 6 years old, he already started to feel old, and that really resonated with me, I guess you could say, because the thing was, yeah, since I was six, I just felt like I was, behind everybody else in terms of development, starting from that age, as early as 6 years old. And I started feeling it again, in my late teens. And now I'm feeling it, a third time, as a woman, and then something just came over me. I wanted to share this. I finally got the courage to like talk about it today. Um, I've been spending, kind of my late teens, like early adulthood, kind of. You don't have to feel sorry for me when I say this. Kind of making up for the girlhood that I never really had. And yeah, there were quite a number of situations where I would just feel like I'm walking on eggshells around certain situations, and I could go on and on and on, but I'd rather not. Um, yeah, so then I thought to myself, I was even like telling, a counselor at one point, you know what, I just feel like being selfish. And so I took like some years of my life, kind of, exploring things that I was too ashamed to explore, publicly. I only felt okay doing it on a super, super secretive basis. I had to like transition from being secretive to being private. It's kind of confusing to make out the difference, as you could probably imagine. And yeah, and it was only 2 years ago that, somebody that I used to confide in, told me, you know what, you're a baby in this world. It's like basically trying to justify it's okay if I don't have something clear in my mind right now. Well, at that moment. And then only 2 years after the fact, suddenly it's just like, oh, like, you're getting old now. From here on out, you gotta, you know, basically settle down, is what this person was trying to say. And it's just like, damn, was I supposed to become like a genius in those 2 years? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, not that it's impossible, but I guess I was just kind of thinking in the back of my mind, like, what do you really expect from me? You know what I'm saying? And yeah, but then also a part of me was thinking as I was getting ready in the washroom this morning, like, you've enjoyed, girlhood, the way that you figured out for yourself, and that's still a good thing. That's still an accomplishment in and of itself, was finding a way to enjoy girlhood, even though it wasn't the most, traditional, chronological thing ever. But you weren't born to be a girl. You were born to become a lady anyway. And that's not to say like I condone for anyone to be forced to grow up too fast. That's not what I'm, right? But I guess what I'm trying to say is that I don't know, there may be somebody else who might be watching, what I'm saying right now and feeling like, oh, you know, kind of scared, I guess you could say, to be in the spotlight or something. Kind of scared to, I don't know, even imagine oneself being, uh, what's the word? No longer, a girl or no longer a boy because you've just, found out what that meant, and, you've just been so used to that for so long. And And honestly, like I was just watching, one of the videos that I saved, and like, yeah, at the end of the day, we're all on our own clock. This we can't like really race against each other. Like it's just kind of pointless, even if we were to try, right? Because the thing is, we're all, you know, different for a reason, and we're all gonna bring something different, to this life for a reason. Simply because, life is just gonna be boring for all the same, right? I guess what I'm trying to say is that I've just been in this place where I almost feel guilty for wanting to, be as much of a lady as possible. Does that make sense? I don't know if somebody else feels this way, where, I don't know, it could be the opposite gender, where they feel guilty for, I don't know, wanting to be handsome, wanting to feel prestigious, wanting to feel um, like they're really showing like what's really inside. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. You kind of just, you're so used to being kind of like a secret treasure chest, You're just so used to being unlocked, you know. I don't know if I'm necessarily that treasure chest, but it could be you that I'm speaking to that is a treasure chest. You know what I'm saying? And it's not that like you never had value, it was just sitting there. It's just you didn't know how that wealth was going to be shared, outside of you. I don't know if someone can relate to what I just said. But yeah, that's what I was trying to, get out of my mouth when I mentioned 2 videos ago.